Everybody's got a price. Everybody's gonna pay. 'Cause the $1 million man always gets his way. Money, 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 money. Some might cost a little. Some might cost a lot. But I'm the $1 million man. And you will be bought. Money, money,
Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Captain Fellow Records in the building. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We're streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! You see it. It's all about the money today. The salary cap has been set, which means that man in the bottom corner is getting ready to do some things. Not what you think. We ain't talking about free agents. We're talking about making some money moves here. The Cowboys will discuss where they're at right now, where they have to be in the next 3 weeks. Plus the NFL in general just saw a ridiculous cap surge. Surprising news. We'll cover it from top to bottom. We'll look at some moves the Cowboys can make to get under said cap and create some space to do what they want with it. But we know they're probably not going to do a whole lot. Nonetheless, we'll discuss the actual moves they can make. So if you're into, I see Toxic Tom in the building said, this is my type of show. If you're into the cap situation and see what moves the Cowboys can make, that's what we're going to do today. Plus in the roundup, we got some combine news. Mike and Mike are doing something a bit different to kind of, I don't know, I guess they think it's to take advantage of it, but I got my own theory on why they're doing what they're doing. But what's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
How we doing this morning, man? Hope everybody's doing fine. I hope everybody is as tight as Cam Newton's hat was the other day, because I don't know how you get into a squabble like that. It was out there like, yeah.
They're squabbling out there now. Yeah.
I don't understand. Cam's hats is crazy. He cuts off a hole in the top and he puts the tree, and it just stays, you know. So I hope everybody is doing as well and is holding on tight to their lives as Cam Newton's hat, man. You know, we're gonna have a good show today. It's not your typical show. I usually like to bring on a guy like a KD Drummond or Joey Ikes to really dive into these things. So I'm going to speak. I'm going to speak to myself as if I'm 5. If you've seen The Office, explain it to me like I'm 5. I'm going to try to explain it to y'all as if I was explaining it to myself. The devil is in the details in a lot of these things. And one day I will get Joey on here. And KD, we'll get him back on here too. And we'll talk about, the implications of some of these moves per se. With that said, man, I don't know, Swain. I don't know, but we're going to talk about it on Vacha's show. So I was just teasing y'all with it. We're going to do a play-by-play on Vacha's show, so it's going to be fun. Let's get into this roundup real quick, and then we're going to talk about moves. A lot of moves, a lot in a way, but they don't have to do it. That's what's funny about this whole cap surge. The Cowboys can make a good amount of moves to get under the cap to do what they want, but it is the Cowboys, so it is what it is.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It's time!
Time?
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you!
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. First, about Mike and Mike. So reports came out, and it's really not a report because Mike McCarthy gave the reporters the quote that they will be staying at the Star during this year's Combine. And here is Mike McCarthy's quote on it. He says, quote, Zim and I will have a full week together here and cover a lot of ground with things we're working on. At the same time, we can still participate in the Combine process and have direct contact through video calls and meetings while having our coaches on the ground there as well. So 9 times out of 10, they will have, obviously, Will McClay will be there. We know Lunda Wells has reported to be there, and other coaches will be in attendance, and they'll be doing Zoom calls and doing the interviews in that manner. All that says to me is, man, these picks. And I'm here for it. All right, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit because he didn't go to the Combine last year. Look how that went. He didn't go to the Combine last year either. He stayed back and said, hey, man, we got to work on this offense. Offense started off slow, but then it put up historic numbers, MVP type of year for Dak and all that stuff. So you could argue kind of did work. Maybe it didn't. Who knows? But look, I don't know if they really particularly care. I mean, they do. Let me stop. I'm projecting my thoughts onto Mike and Mike. Y'all know how I feel about these picks this year. Like there might be one, maybe two. You'd be like, yeah, they could help you. When I say help you, let me not do that because we're going to get into draft talk this week. I don't believe you can rely on the rookies is what I'm saying. You need the rookies, right? Like you obviously need them to replenish your roster and keep depth and develop and all this and all that. But for me this year, this whole prove it lame duck season, it cannot hinge on rookies. And I don't know, maybe Mike and Mike is like, look, send our coaches down there. We'll do the meetings. We gotta figure out how to make this team better with established players, either guys we got on this damn team or guys we can go out there and get in free agency. Because I might not be here after next year. And I ain't mad at it if that's the case. Now, again, I'm just talking shit. I doubt that's really what they're thinking, but that's how I would look at it, man. Listen, I can go down there and I can act like I really care about, 4-year contracts, 5-year contracts for some of these rookies, where maybe 1 or 2 of them may help, but they're not going to be hump players. Or I can sit back here and try to figure this thing out with my new defensive coordinator, my new assistants that I'm bringing in here, and try to get better with guys that are here and guys that we can go out and get in free agency. That I would do. Will McClay, you go do your thing. Also at the Combine, and I try to get a little more information on this one because this is something that happens a lot down there. Backdoor deals. Backdoor deals happen a ton down at the Combine. We hear there's little nuggets that always drop when you're down there, but you don't really. Sometimes it's not even public. Sometimes the public announcement might be, yeah, so-and-so breezed by so-and-so. They said what's up, and in reality, they said a lot more. For instance, the Cowboys last year essentially had the deal ready-made for Stephon Gilmore in Indianapolis. Steven, I think the story goes, Steven ran into their general manager. They got to talking, and next thing you know, they kind of have a handshake deal behind the scenes ready to go. And a couple days into free agency, I think it was, maybe a weekend, actually, boom, Stephon Gilmore gets traded. But it all started there. So what you could do is you could see either some backdoor trading deals happening down there, or you can see some free agency deals because there's a ton of agents down there. And after they saw this salary cap jump, I bet they're working hard, them and general managers, to kind of get a kind of a handshake agreement, a head nod, like, okay, yeah, this works out. Once this thing hits, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Because look, you can say, well, that's tampering. The tampering period doesn't start. Listen, man, these agents and NFL people, they've been doing this well before the tampering period for years. There's nothing new here. There's nothing new. So that salary cap, Cowboys Nation. The league announced Friday that the salary cap will be $255.4 million per club. And this is from the NFL. That figure marks an unprecedented $30+ million rise over last season's cap, which was at $224.4. Per the NFL, on top of the record salary cap, there will be an additional $74 million per club payment for player benefits, which include performance-based pay, retirement, and the total 2024 player cost will be $329.4, more than $10 billion league-wide.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Taylor Swift for the cat. Hilarious. That's a lot of money, Cowboys Nation. That's a whole lot of money. In fact, let's take a look at the salary cap jump over the last, 14 seasons? This is why, for me, getting all up in arms and whining about the salary cap is a little silly to me. If you can aggressively manage it, you can flip it and reverse it and do whatever you need it to do. And smart teams, in my opinion, can look into the future. These owners know. And the thing about the Cowboys situation is the owner, and his son, they're in those meetings. The owner, general manager, vice president, president, they're all in these meetings. They know where these numbers are heading. But if you go look at from 2011 to 2024, you're talking about a $135 million increase, over 100%. But okay, Scott, that's 10 or that's 14 years. What about the last three? Just in 2022 was $208 million. This year it's $255 million, over $40 million in 2 seasons removed. This is a very interesting nugget by my guy, Joey Ikes, I wanted to bring up here. Because I didn't realize, I missed this tweet last year. I just want to see what you guys think about this. Last year, right around free agency tampering period, Joey said this, quote, "As we sit about an hour away from the tampering period, may I remind you that among the 3 men responsible for the Dallas Cowboys salary cap / contracts, there's a chem engineering degree, a mechanical engineering degree, and a sports management degree, not a finance, accounting, economic person in sight." Now look, y'all, I'm no finance, manager, no economic major. We got my guy Toxic Tom in the building. That's his forte, right? What I do though is I try to look at the patterns, right, around the league and add those up and then obviously doing my own research and make sense of it. Obviously, we know how that man and this team operates in the free agency market. And the salary cap era really is what I should say. I'm just me. But I don't think it takes a damn genius to understand this thing. And if you can't understand it as well, then go get one of those accounting people. Now, I will say this. I do not know how common that is, right? Like, how common is this? How many teams across the league don't have a finance, accounting, economic person in sight? Toxic, they might be hiring, bro. But you would think dealing with a $200+ million credit, you would hire somebody that knows how to manipulate it. Does it feel like to you, Dallas Cowboys fans, that the Cowboys know how to manipulate it? You could say, well, yeah, because, you know, they signed their guys. But I could argue they are one of the few teams to not use it to their advantage in the last 15 years on free agents. They've chosen instead to deal with the devil they know over a free agent. And I really don't know how much that's worked out for them. You know, maybe instead of tagging that running back and that tight end, one of the running back coming off the injury, the tight end who's not dynamic, maybe instead of giving the bag to a wide receiver off an ACL, maybe instead of paying a running back early, a ridiculous record-setting amount who you planned on wearing down, maybe instead of paying that linebacker with one leg, you know what I mean? Like they take their guys, the devil they know, their babies, and they just go crazy. One of the few teams, in my opinion, scared to go outside of what they do, their room, their house, and try to get better. You could argue that, yeah, you're winning 12 games. That's fine. But how many players are getting you over the hump? Instead of maybe paying a Dorrance Armstrong, right? You use that $12 million over the last 2 years and you go get the Bobby Wagner. And I'm not saying you pay $200 million every single year. No. You do retain some of your guys. But in the last 15 years, they've won outside of their house one time and got spooked. So clearly, I don't know if it's not having a finance, accountant, economic guy in the building or whatever, but clearly they have not learned how to use the cap to its advantage to get better. I think that's the key one right there, right? To get better. They've used it to kind of maintain. So where are they at right now? If you look at across the league, there's a lot of money, man. Whew. I mean, you go look at the top of the league right now. You got 5 teams with over $70 million in cap space. Now, a lot of these teams are not that great. I do think the Texans and the Lions are in great position since they're in fantastic position with this bread. But you look at it across the league with this new number, the Cowboys sit roughly at $9 million, depending on where you're looking at, $8-9+ million over the cap. Now, here's the thing. They were $20+ million over the cap prior to this new salary cap being announced. So that has helped tremendously. And for a lot of people who scream and yell and kick to the mountaintops, cap hell, oh my God, you can't do this with Cowboy, you can't, cap hell. Cowboys can literally make one move and be, boom, well under the cap. But we're going to talk about a handful of moves that the Cowboys can make to be under the cap. They likely will not do all of these, but if they wanted max spending power, they can do these 5 moves and create max spending power. There's the restructure way, and then there's the extension way. And I want to touch on both of those with some obvious names. So stay with me. Again, it's not the craziest type show today, but it is important in regards to know where these numbers are if the Cowboys, in fact, do want to get active in free agency. The first one, a little tricky, and I'm curious to know how you guys feel about it. Zack Martin restructure. So Zack Martin right now, if you look at his cap hit, will cost you $28.5 million. He has 1 year left on his deal, and he has a couple void years, I believe, after he does. So technically, Zach could be done this year and be over. It's a wrap. He retires. He walks away. But next year, he's going to cost you $13.4 million on a cap because of the void years. While Zack Martin isn't the demigod he once was, Zack Martin is still a top-tier guard in this league. He's just not that guy once was. However, remember, for me, I'm looking at this thing in a I'm looking at this like a sprint. I'm not looking at this in a marathon way. So that could be the difference between me and the Cowboys. I'm looking at this like a sprint. And if I want to create a chunk, I can do so by restructuring Zack. Now, the problem with restructuring, and I want y'all to remember this when it comes to the quarterback, is that, yeah, they can push some of that money into the void years. But if they do so, then the void year dead money rises. So if you restructure Zack Martin, you will add $12.5 million to the cap today. But a lot of that will be pushed into the 2025 dead cap money, 2026, 2027. They can spread it out. So instead of 13.4 next year, maybe it's 15. Instead of 7 the following, maybe it's 9. Instead of 1.1 the following, maybe it's 3 or 4 or more. So Zack is the more tricky one here to restructure because he has a pretty significant dead cap hit next year that you will just be adding on. But if you're looking at this as a, hey man, I don't care, I want all the money possible to go out and sign guys, he's a possibility. But he's not one that I don't think you have to do. I don't think you have to do it. Regardless, though, you are getting a dead cap hit next year. That's pretty significant. So that's a conversation they could be having in this building. Do I free up almost $13 million with this restructure, or do I let it ride and roll with the $13 million and $7 million cap hit the next 2 years? This is where they're at with it. So that's one guy, Zack Martin. Before I get to a couple other restructures, let me wrap to B Bird real quick. Good morning, good sir.
How you doing this morning, Scott?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. So, Scott, I have 3 daughters and I have 2 sons. And most people out there with daughters would rather, like, hey, when they get mad, I hope they, marry, somebody of means, a rich man or whatever. But really, we shouldn't be thinking about our daughters marrying rich. We need to be thinking about our daughters marrying somebody that's generous, right? So it's a difference because a rich man, just because he has wealth, doesn't mean he's going to share with anyone. So the generous man will share, right? So the thing about it is, what we have a rich guy that won't spend money. That's just what it is. And as a owner / GM, I think one of the things that you would think that you would get from him is, hey, I want to win, and I'm going to put money out there to do it. Kind of, like the Yankees with Steinbrenner. Hey, he didn't mind spending money to go try to win a championship. And so we have a real wealthy guy that's in the position of a football guy in personnel, but he won't spend money. It's kind of crazy because what we don't get is the advantages of him being owner / GM / all these other things. We don't get the advantages of that, which would be, no, we can just go spend money, go get the guys that we're supposed to get, that we should get to win.
Yeah, it feels like, I don't know when this happened. Maybe when they realized, okay, we're not as good in this salary cap era in the late 90s, early 2000s. It feels like they shifted to, we're going to prioritize our players, the whole draft and develop and sign our own guys. But I think there's a mistake, though. I think a lot of people believe that Jerry just went out and signed all these crazy free agents for all this money, because of the whole Deion Sanders thing. That really wasn't the case. If you go back and you look into the 2000s, they were, the biggest contract they signed outside of Brandon Carr was like Leonard Davis. That worked out, by the way. Marco Rivera was also signed. I think Leroy Glover earlier, but it wasn't like he was just signing all these high-priced dudes. Like this wasn't an Albert Hainsworth situation, where he goes to the Patriots or he goes to the Washington Football people. They spend all this money and it doesn't work out. Somebody somewhere along the way said, "Hey, look, prioritize your guys and overpay them." And I think that is backfired, man. Most teams don't actually do that. They pay their guys, but they move on from their guys too. Dallas, for whatever reason, doesn't do it, and they don't go out and spend said money. And you talk about, Jerry being, the rich guy. Yes and no, because the cap there's the cap they got to operate under, but then there's the cash. That's the part that surprises me. They don't spend the cash on these dudes. They like to use the star to say, hey, we'll give you this little bit of money because you play for the Cowboys. Newsflash, it's 2024, man. You could play for the Cleveland Browns and be on 17 million commercials.
Absolutely. And so one thing that I think with free agency, and I wanted to run this by you because I think psychologically the Joneses, I think they're kind of frozen in a sense of with fear because they don't want to end up with egg on their face for signing a free agent that doesn't turn out right.
Yeah.
And so they really like their guys because they know their guys better, and they've seen them in camp, seen them in games, seen them. So they know it's more about the known versus the unknown.
Yeah, the devil you know.
That's where it comes in at, and that's where we fail in free agency. I always say if somebody plucked me right now and put me in Google, ahead of Google, I'd be like, man, I don't know what the heck to do. I don't know what I'm doing, but I ain't gonna do nothing. Why? I ain't changing anything because I don't know what the hell I'm doing anyway. I'm just gonna stay here and get this money. And so what the Joneses do is they basically like, hey, look, if we don't do anything, we can't get blamed for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So let's just deal with the devils that we do know, the people that we do know on our team, invest in those guys. Yeah, but what about this guy where he can fill his hole? Yeah, but if he come here and fail, next thing you know, I'm going to be on First Take, undisputed, and everything about this bad deal. So I'd rather just not do anything. And it's almost like that phone call in the draft that the guy said that Detroit called him about, and Stephen Jones just kind of blew him off, right?
Yeah.
It's like, man, I don't know anything about that. I'd rather not make a move. I don't know nothing about this. And, and it's just what that is. And I think, again, we just not getting the advantages of, having a Maverick or whatever we're supposed to have as an owner/GM. We don't get the advantages of it. We're actually getting the opposite side of that thing, man. And I'm going to get off, and I just wanted to get that out, man, and I'm going to get off, and I'll continue to listen to y'all there, brother.
You said it perfectly right there. Appreciate you, B-Bird. And that's kind of what I was saying. I feel like over the last 15 years, they're one of the few teams that haven't taken advantage of this ridiculous jump. I mean, look at this. Just 2 years, it went up over $40 million. And it's going to be $300 million in 2 more years. Maybe next year. Who knows? No, seriously. It'll be in $300 million in 2 more seasons. And each and every year they come out and they they talk about the pie to try to sway public opinion. We can't do this, pie that. I call BS. How about manage the money better? How about, like I said, instead of paying the tight end, the running back, the one-legged linebacker, the one-legged wide receiver, the running back that you ran into the ground 2 years earlier, how about instead of doing that, you use that money and go get a top end guy? It don't gotta be all every single year. Well, what if it fails, right? And that's what B. Bird said. I'll always go back to the Rams. The Rams made a whole bunch of crazy moves. They gave you the blueprint. Hell, even the Niners too, you think about it. But the Rams gave you the blueprint. All right, cool. We'll trade. See, that's the thing. I use the word aggressively. If you aggressively manage it, aggressively managing it can mean, hey man, we got to make this trade. We got to unload this contract off of our cap so we can be in position to do another big move later on down the line. All right, man, he got to go. We're not going to re-sign XYZ. We're going to let him walk and we'll get a comp pick. Like Dallas kind of walks on eggshells. Let's talk about another move they can make, though, to create some cap space. This one is not a difficult one, in my opinion. Trayvon Diggs, he just signed a lucrative deal last offseason. Unfortunately, he, blew out his knee, and we'll monitor that situation. But I have very high expectations and confidence in Trayvon Diggs' long-term future with the Cowboys. So not really worried about him. So they can restructure Diggs and create another almost $8 million in additional cap. I don't think that is a difficult one to do. Whereas Zack Martin one, you could argue, let's kind of see what else we can do. Diggs, I think that is a easy click the trigger, push the button, do whatever you got to do, and boom, you got $8 million right there. Some people will say, that could pay for the draft picks. That could pay. I feel, man. But you can use that to get under the cap or close to it right now. If you go look at what the cap is looking like now for the Cowboys, they'd be roughly $2 million, $1 million over still. but it is a move that they can make. And honestly, I think that is one that they will 100% make. I don't think this is one that will be discussed as much because Trayvon Diggs is still young, ascending, and he'll be here for a very long time. Oh, I got to rap to Toxic Tom. He's a professional. Toxic Tom, please let them know what it is that you do so they can understand your viewpoint here.
I am an accountant by trade, and this is music to my ears because I deal with people all the time, and I do volunteer work. And like I said, a little about me. I'm a veteran, so I try to give free financial advice just to help veterans just get
Appreciate
their books
that.
straight, because investing in money is really simple, and I think it's from The Big Short. People think that it's complicated, and they do that because they just want you to leave them alone. I'm telling you, the stuff that you're talking about right now is accounting 101. This is stuff Stringer Bell learned in the community college in The Wire while he was learning how to corner the market. And if anyone has never watched The Wire, won't get that. But I'm trying to let you know this is really basic stuff. And the problem with what you said, I think the Jones know how to do it. I just think they don't do it very well.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I think of the Joneses like Michael Scott when he finds out that there's a surplus.
Oh, I love
and
that
he
episode.
doesn't know what it means.
Explain it to me like I'm
And
5.
he's
Please
like-
explain it to us.
And, yep. And you have Oscar, the accountant, explaining it to him. And Michael is like, he still doesn't grasp it, but he understands the basics. Oh, we have money coming in. And just like the actual Dallas Cowboys, the office group is what has made that office relevant. And the only reason why Michael Scott, Stephen Jones, is a good, quote, manager and making good money is because the office is going 12-5 that year. So in a weird way, the Dallas Cowboys are a lot like Dunder Mifflin. And Jim Halpert, Dak Prescott, Andy Bernard can be who can be Andy Bernard? Either way, but Kevin Malone can be Sam Williams, not the brightest. I'm kidding, by the way, Sam. But
Who's
the real
Creed?
roundabout.
Who's Creed?
The real round, yeah. It's just it's. I watched it a couple weeks ago, and
Jerry's
it just hit me like,
Creed.
wow, we are
He's
Dunder
just there.
Mifflin. Yeah. So the point I really wanted to call in is really say about this. When I see these headlines, and you showed the graphic of all the teams with cap hell and all that nonsense, the reality of this is really a fugazi. It's really just bookkeeping. That's really all this is. And when people see cap hell and all of this, it is nonsense. You are being lied to by Rosie O'Donnell and his father, who hasn't won shit in 30 years, and you're really going to get upset at Dak Prescott for wanting more money. And when people hear they want more money and they see the dollar signs, you got to realize the industry that they're in. And two, and this is what I asked Mo last night, and this is something I wanted to look into. The cap is constantly going up. And if it's going to keep going up and teams are seeing this, teams are now saying, wait a minute, if I know, for instance, the cap's going to go up 15% next year, why don't I kick some of my money right now into that future year? And let's say it eats 7% of it. My cap is still going to go up by 8% after the money that I moved over. So now I'm, quote, cap compliant. And that's why teams are doing what they're doing, because they know the cap's going to go up. Why on earth would I keep these cap hits on my books right now when I can go win right now? And if the cap's just going to keep going up, you're basically kicking money into the future indefinitely. The Saints, people act like the Saints are in cap hell and they can't even keep the lights on. The Saints have been doing this for a damn near decade, and they are constantly doing it because the Saints know that if we just keep kicking this money down the road, we'll pay it eventually, but you're indefinitely doing this. And the Cowboys are over here operating like they have QuickBooks, and they just can't understand what the hell's going on. It's just
because they got Kevin Malone, who initially applied to be a janitor, and they threw him an accountant.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And when I see fans, and this is the genius of the Joneses and also their curse, is they are so good at passing blame. And they always do it, and I don't know why our fans fall for it. They're like, Dak Prescott wants 65. Yeah, you're damn right, because Dak Prescott, like a competent NFL team, sees that the cap is going up.
But let's not spread false rumors out here, man. Nobody's saying Dak Prescott came out and said he wants $65 million. Like, let's not be a part of the problem. The number that came out was $60 million. And then the cap increases and people are insinuating, oh, is it 65? But let's also talk about this. It's never 65 or 60 million on the cap.
Nope.
But it's easy to throw out these numbers that anger people and get rage baiting people out here to then blame said quarterback on your franchise's inability to manage, massage, and manipulate the cap into their favor. We will blame it on that guy. He hasn't cost you even remotely close to that in his entire time here. The one time it cost you a lot was their fault because they tagged him and they didn't extend him the year prior. So,
and I can already just get ahead of this right now because I can already hear people complaining about this in May and when free agency starts. Oh, Dak Prescott's cap hit cost 70-something million.
Not even close.
Yes, because or 60 million or something like that.
It won't cost that.
But it's all manipulation. Like the Joneses moved money to a later year to go get people, and they like to blame people about the pie. It's just they're a self-licking ice cream cone. They just are constantly thinking, and they always have narratives. But the point I want to say is your cash is not your cap hit, people. Like, I cannot drive that home enough. Just because a player signs a 4-year, $160 million deal, and they love to put the average per year, they may pay him cash-wise that, but cap hit is not the same damn thing. Stop that. Just get that out of your damn mind. It's not the same. Second thing is,
my bad.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if you're getting upset with the actual cash in any of these players' pockets, you are just hating. Number one. If you wanna talk about the actual cap, like the cap hit, we can have that conversation, and I can tell you why that won't harm, your said team, unless it is harming your said team, and then we can talk about what you can do to massage that. But if you hating on somebody getting their bread, which a lot of people do on this here internet, they hate on somebody getting their bread. You're hating. That's all that is. Because that cash does not affect you cap-wise if it's an extension. In fact, it's going to help you cap-wise. But you see, people don't understand that, and I'm glad you explained a little bit more here.
And the second part, and this is the part that they don't really ever talk about, and I'll say this again, the thing you want to pay attention to is the guaranteed money, because that is what the owners and the general managers all care about, because that money goes into an escrow account. So Jerry Jones is literally putting that money out of his pocket into an escrow account, and that is where the holdup ever becomes. I don't know when this team decided to become the Oakland A's and the Tampa Bay Rays when it comes to we're cheap as shit, we'll just sign our own guys, and if they mouth off, we'll get rid of them. Or I don't know where that happened, but all of this is nonsense. And it takes two to sign a contract. The owners don't honor deals at all. So come hell or high water, I'm going to tell a guy who's putting his body on the line, who agreed to that deal, that now he needs to take a pay cut. You can eat fucking shit, especially from a billionaire. No way in hell that is happening.
No.
So please, people, like, when you're hearing this, don't fall for it, and just know that a nerdy twerp like me living in Baltimore can easily decipher this stuff, because I spent more than 1 hour in accounting when I went to Penn State, best school on earth, by the way. If I can figure this out, and you have these people that are doing it for a living, the people on your screen right now, Rosie O'Donnell and his dipshit crypt keeper grandfather, I'm telling you right now, they are lying to stay face, and they are only doing it because they will always try to shift the blame off their complete inbred incompetence. That is all I have to say, other than get Ryan Minall back in this damn star. Y'all have a good day.
Hey, man, I'm sorry. I got to play this. Appreciate you, Toxic. I got to play this one time for the one time. We still live. After that, man, I mean. A round of applause for our own cap wizard,
Everybody's got a price.
Toxic Tom, basically just explaining
Everybody's gonna pay.
the $1 Million Man.
Cause the $1 Million Man always gets his way.
Always gets his way. But there's still going to be somebody out there that be like, but Cap. Telling you, man. Don't fall for the foo-foo. Don't do it. It's at this point, it's not even like it's some hidden knowledge. It's common knowledge. This isn't some unwritten thing. This isn't some behind the scenes. Ooh, we know something they don't know. Everybody knows this by now. Which is why you see a team like the Bills and the Saints, they're not panicking. They're way over. By the way, they're paying their quarterbacks too. Nobody cries about that, but they're way over. Now get under. They'll do what they got to do. Teams like the Rams, who everybody was, oh well, it's going to come back and bite them. Philly, well, they're not going to have enough money. They sitting up here with $27 million, going to easily get more. That's why I ain't worried about it. So this is the last restructure option. It's not technically the last one. The Cowboys can do other restructure options, but I just wanted to talk about the guys that could create a decent amount. Cuzzo, Terence Steele. As you can see, these numbers are decreasing, right? 12.5 from Zach, but that's tricky. Diggs, 7.8, not tricky. Click that button. Terence Steele, 4.9, about $5 million you can get added to the cap. I know a lot of people, and me included, we're all down on Steele after this year. It wasn't a great year. But I will say this. Obviously, coming off that ACL, he clearly looked different, played different. But he did start to play better. What are you talking about, Scott? I promise you, he started to play a little bit better. Specifically, in that wild card round, I looked at Terence, and I did this on purpose, right? I said, let me go back and watch this Green Bay game. I just wanted to watch Terence because I remember Terence at the beginning of the season, and we're going to take a look at some film. So we're going to take a break from numbers right now. We're going into the film room. So if you're into the film, stick around for a little bit here. I was looking at Terence specifically because I ain't going to lie to y'all. Like, it's been hard going back watching these games and watching individuals every single time. So I might watch somebody and take a break for a couple of days or weeks and then go watch somebody again. So let me go watch Terence. I watched Cuzzo. And y'all remember how I said I kind of had blind, or you can call it whatever you want to call it, optimism that he will be better next year? It's no longer that. It is no longer that. He quite literally got physically better and technically better as the season went on. If you go look at the last 10 games, he was only credited with 2 sacks allowed. The pressures weren't as alarming as they were prior to that. You saw from a technical standpoint, he was night and day with his consistency. He wasn't shooting his hands all wildly. You ain't see him lose balance playing over his feet. He was patient. Most importantly, he was consistent in this one. Now I'm going to show you something. Early in the season, and I'm just showing these clips on purpose so you can just watch Terence, just watch his technique, watch his patience, watch how he's shooting his hands, watch the knee bend, the kick back. Just he looks completely different than in these clips, Cowboys Nation. Mind you, the 2 clips I'm going to show you are from week 5 and week 9. It's Terence Steele, if you guys don't know. Now, I get it, this is Joey Bosa or whatever, but you can just see the difference here. First of all, look how he's shooting and missing. And look where his step is. Now look at Tyron. This is a good way to kind of get a gauge on what's happening here. Tyron Smith's steps are completely different. It's Tyron over here, 1-2, and he's already got the depth. He's already at this line right here. And look at the patience. Tyron hasn't hit yet. Boom. And he's inside. Now you go back and you look at Terence Steele. I mean, everything here is kind of sloppy. You got the choppy small steps, and he's firing early. He's leaning, and he misses with his hands. And what do you get? You get a miss. You get a sack. And take another look at the same play from this game here. Go ahead, fast forward a little bit. Similar situation. Small choppy steps. He's already leaning. Look at this. He's already leaning. Now go look at Tyron Smith. Look where Tyron Smith is at in his depth. Look where Terence is at. Now, there is a report or rumor or whatever out there that Coach Solari was teaching these guys to attack, right? Attack first. And you saw Terence do that a lot, and he missed a lot. But look where Terence is. Look where Tyron is. Look at the patience that he has. Misses with his hands once again. Pressure, even though he got it away and for a touchdown, but still. Okay, now we're in the infamous game. Oh, boy. We're in the infamous Eagles game where he gave up 4 sacks here. But once again, take a look. Now he's firing out. This is that attack mode that I guess Solari is teaching these guys. Go after him. Go get him. Once again, look at the patience in Tyron Smith. Not attacking. Look at, he's upright. He's strong. And look at Terence. Terence is on one leg. He's on one leg. He's missing with his hands. And then the door just swings open for a sack. I hate to show this play, but again, I just have to emphasize the difference in Terence Steele in early in the season and later in the season. Once again, Terence Steele, and this is a game-losing sack essentially. Here we go. First of all, the knee bend is just disgusting because he's still trying to gain that strength. Look at this. Look at the difference, and look at the difference in Tyron, strong, and Terence playing over his damn toes. Look where the hands are. Get swiped, leaning, feet all messed up. Look at Tyron. Now Tyron, I get Hall of Famer, but it's just, it was so sloppy. And that's why I kept saying early in the season, to me, it wasn't so much about the injury. Obviously, the injury played some confidence factor in it, but it was the technique that bothered me the most about Terence Steele. And then you go look at the Green Bay game, and it's night and day. You see the confidence in his leg, the strength, the technique, patience, boom, fire, the get off. He looks way more athletic. I feel confident in Terence Steele, not just improving, but vastly improving to the 2021 type of Terence Steele. Look at the patience there. That's Rashawn Gary. That's no slouch. He pretty much shut out Rashawn Gary in this game. Patience, fire out. He's not, even though he attacks, there's one rep here where he does fire out and attack. He's under control with it. You don't see him playing over top of his toes. Right there early in the season, he'd have been playing over top of his toes. Look at this. Look at the hands. So I've got a lot more confidence in Terence Steele. And look, maybe a part of me, Cowboys Nation, looked at Terence 2021 tape pre-ACL, was like, oh man, the 2020 or 2022 tape pre-ACL was like, oh man, Terence 2023 will be fine. But then obviously reality hit. I'm not gonna lie, it set in. I'm like, okay, clearly he's got to work his way back, just like any other injury. Maybe I was a bit too confident that it wouldn't take, a full year to do so. Clearly, Terence Steele, Michael Gallup, we talked about Blake Jarwin, Tristan Hill, even Malik Hooker to an extent didn't tear his ACL, was his Achilles. It takes time for these guys. So I'm confident, man. After going back and watching just Terence from a technical standpoint, I actually feel fine with doing this restructure. If you need to. Because he doesn't have any void years per se. I mean, I guess they could add that. I don't believe he does. So they could just kind of push that bread down the line and open up $5 million in cap. My bad, the Lunatic. I saw you in there. I just wanted to get through this one. If you want to call back in, the Lunatic, you can. Obviously, if you guys want to call in, you can. 351-999-3787. So, I know a lot of people are out on Cuzzo, and I ain't mad at you. He needs to have a bounce back season, but after kind of looking at what he was earlier in the season and kind of seeing what he did in the Green Bay game, does it at least give you a little bit more confidence that, oh, okay, he was progressively getting better. Now he's going to be a full year removed from the ACL, multiple years actually, another off season, more strength, not rehabbing, but actually working on his craft. He got a ridiculous work ethic. Does it give you a little bit more confidence in Terence Steele? What about Pollard? You could argue Pollard's another one, right? Who got better as the year went on from his injury. Now, that's a different story if you want to bring him back. You know how I feel about running backs. Go draft me one. I guess you could sign me a vet, but I'm totally different. Fine with the Steele restructure. He looked good in the Green Bay game, Curtis. Yeah, he did, man. And this is my bad for not going back and really studying him. Because after that game, we all were just like, man, F everybody, right? F everybody, F this game. But I went back and was extremely impressed. And maybe it's because I just watched how he performed earlier in the season from a technical standpoint. It was extremely sloppy. And in this one, man, it was night and day, y'all. Night and day. All right, got a couple more callers. I got y'all in a quick second. I want to get through these next two situations here. And these next two are not, and yeah, here goes Cowboy. These next two are not restructures. These are the big boys. These are the extensions that the Cowboys can do. And we got to start off with the big one, right? Dak Prescott extension can free up $26.2 million on the cap. Not free up, add to it. So these next two alone, if you just do these, they put you above the cap and they give you some extra money to spend. But then there's the flip side to this whole Dak Prescott thing. And look, there seems to be many different layers you can attack with this. But the flip side to this particular thing right here, the Cowboys only being negative $9 million under the cap, or over the cap, I'm sorry. They don't technically have to do it. Now, they want to. They've talked about doing it. They want to win the deal. A lot of fans don't want it to happen. Right? But if they actually want to spend this money on said other players, it would behoove them not to. And said other players could be Micah. I know a lot of people talk about Micah. Technically, you get cap space with the Lamb extension, but we'll get to that in a second. If they want to go out and spend in free agency, and oh, by the way, have a franchise quarterback for the next few seasons, it will behoove them not to do it. But if you are on the side of, and I don't think the Joneses are, hey man, let this $59 million cap hit ride, that's your prerogative. But the problem is, I don't think you can have your cake and eat it too. You can't complain about your all-pro quarterback taking up the cap and then say you want him to take up the most cap possible. I mean, you can't do it. You just can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, because of Dak Prescott, we can't go out and get X, Y, Z. That is false. We know that's a lie. But if you want to say that, then the thing to do is say, okay, let's create the $26 million to go do X, Y, and Z. You can't say, oh, well, it's up to him because he's getting paid the most to overcome all the BS and do it by himself because we don't got the money to go spend on somebody else. Well, yes, you can. And yes, you do. Do you want a franchise quarterback and to put a bomb roster and coaches and all that around him? Or do you want to start over in 2 years maybe? Because they do have this year, maybe next year. We'll see if they decide to restructure. And hope that the Joneses can figure this thing out without a franchise quarterback. I know where I'm at with this one. So $26.2 million can be added to the cap here. And you can easily get money in the salary cap space to spend. And if you're one of the fans who believe the Joneses when they say that you can't do it because of XYZ player, because it ain't just him, by the way, who's going to take up cap space. There's others. You've been duped. They got you. They got you right where they want them.
Got them. We got them. Right where we want.
Mm-hmm. Right where we want them. Then there's the CeeDee Lamb extension. Right now, he cost you like $17 million on the cap because they picked up his fifth-year option. If and when they do extend CeeDee Lamb, that will free up $13.5 million on the cap. That's an easy one. Kind of similar to Trayvon Diggs restructure. Restructure Diggs, you get $8 million. Extend Lamb, $13.5 million. Or are you know what I've been learning this offseason because of the anger. There is a group of people who are ready to move on from CD. They want to trade Micah, and they want to get rid of Dak. That exists. I promise y'all, I'm not making that up.
Okay, so then, now, when does crack? Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
These are real life things, people. There's real life people that are willing to bet on the Joneses with way less talent. I'm not one of them. I don't believe for a second in these dudes to be able to build a championship organization with lesser talent. But there is a world or a group of people in this world that exist. Moving on from CD, because CD's moving on from Dak Whack Scott, whatever y'all call him. And moving on from Micah because he does a podcast. There's a world, or there's a group of people in this world that exists that says, get rid of these dudes and put our hope and trust in this man. I'm sorry. Can't do it, won't do it. Can't do it, won't do it. In fact, I'm all about give me all the dudes possible so they can help overcome this ridiculous organization. Now, the one part the players can't control, my bad, y'all. The one part the players can't control is the coaches. And listen, that's something that they have the ultimate say in no matter how many dudes you bring in from the outside. But they don't bring in dudes from the outside. What they do is say, hey, man, we'll pay Dorrance and we'll pay we'll tag Tony, we'll tag the tight end Dalton Schultz, and we'll continue to draft and develop. That is enough. I'm here to tell you right now, it ain't. Clearly. And it's not just this regime. It's not the Dak Prescott era. Tony era was the same way. We've had teams of talent. So you do one or two things here. You either continue to add more talent or you switch up the damn way you bring in coaches. One of the two. Which one y'all think they're going to do? Bring in a guy in here that's going to say, y'all way is the wrong way. Let me run this thing. No. Or do they say, you know what? Maybe we'll dip our toes in trades instead of free agency. Maybe we'll do more Gillies and Cooks of the worlds because we've seen them do that. I'm betting they'll do this more than they'll do the other. I'm betting they'll do this more than they'll sign guys in free agency. And they'll hope that bringing in guys who obviously aren't in their prime anymore will help them get over the hump. But I'm telling you, the loud minority are really, and there's no joke, are really ready to put their trust in this guy over the three of the best players on their team. I think it's silly, man. The Lunatic, what's good?
Sky, that's why I remind Cowboys Nation, that's why we need to support new Cowboys media. Because, yeah, after that first week, we were ready to fire everybody. But then that's 31 other teams. There's only one winner. But then you go back and gather up your pieces and say, okay, how can we make a run the following year, the year after that, or give us a window? Because I'll remind you, and by the way, Cowboys Nation, that chemical engineer, that's Stephen Jones. Why did he get a chemical degree? Because his daddy was in oil and natural gas. But then guess what? Daddy went into the football business, and now they're football guys. So great. And a little backstory about who we now know runs the Cowboys organization. Two things. With D-Law during his contracts, when we tagged them back-to-back years before Dak, he and the agent almost came to blows at the combine on the sidelines. And then we know what D-Law said in the interview when Steve lowballed him at $10 million a year. Said, "Hey man, just cut me."
He said,
Daddy had
you,
to
bro.
go in there and save it.
He said, yeah, D-Law said, "Hey man, you, I'm out of here. Get me out of here." And Jerry, yeah, you're right. Jerry had to save the situation.
And when his daddy went and got the free agent prime time to help us, because he helped the year before the Niners beat us to keep us from 4 in a row.
He didn't want him.
He just went out and got him. And reports say he went hands-on with his dad, said, "What the hell are you doing paying this man so much?" So that's the type of person we are dealing with. It's not the person trying to get wealthy. It's the one trying to keep as much as he can. That second generation. That's what worries me, especially when I hear their mouthpiece, Moore, the reporter, and when he starts writing about, well, they might just put those 2 avoidable years with Dak. And I'm thinking, once again,
oh, geez,
why are you putting obstacles?
Who said this?
David Moore.
He talked about
he wrote it. Isn't that the Dallas Morning News reporter?
Yeah.
The one that always gets the first question.
See, I don't read the full articles because I don't want to support it. But I do see where he pushes it out. I read the first one about the whole playoff situation, which was silly. I'm like, come on now. The second one. So in that second article, he talked about how they could restructure it.
It's basically not an extension; it's a restructure.
No. Yeah, no.
So
he said that in the article, though.
Yes.
Oh gosh,
and that worries me because because if he's saying it, reports say the Jones are telling him that.
I talked about this weeks ago. That is the dumbest thing ever to do. That is stupid because what will happen then if you restructure it is that he will have a $55 to $60 million cap hit, and he will be a free agent next year, and he can go somewhere else. So now you're sitting on $60 million, $55, $60 million that you're not able to use for a guy that's not here. Listen, I'm all for massaging and moving the cap, but that makes no sense. You better off just taking the hit now and moving forward later than restructuring the contract. That's just goofy, man.
Exactly, because to put it in your own personal life, it's not how much you think you're owed, it's how much somebody's willing to pay you. If somebody's willing to pay me more, I'll take it. You've earned that. I don't mind. But our front office keeps making those obstacles in front of us. And you mentioned it. Thank you again. I was just reading. The estimates were $25 million. Now reports say it's over expectation, $30 million for the salary cap this year, above their expectations.
I heard it was like $13 million above their expectations.
That's what I'm saying. Huh? Even above their expectations. And this man still is coming out, well, there's only so much money. No, there isn't. Please, that's why we need these Cowboys content creators, independent voices telling us, hey, you can do this, and this and free up the money. Don't worry about 2028. Worry about this next year because the last 28 years haven't been squat. Now, only the Washington football Wizards, as Vach says, or as I call them, the Washington Commodes, they're the only other team that haven't played in the NFC Championship game other than us since we last were there. And that was a while back. So we've got to make our voices heard one way or the other, where we cannot let this front office say, no. You can put all the spin you want on it. We know you can do it, damn it. Jerry, go and put the pressure on your son so that you can go into your casket with 4 of the 6. and we'll be grateful with that.
Forget the pressure. Forget the pressure on his son, the lunatic. Get his son out that room.
Yep, exactly. So if you're not willing to do it, give me the goddamn credit card. I'll do it.
No, I don't want that 80-year-old man that ain't. No, go hire somebody else.
Give it to Will McClay. We'll trust Will McClay better. But thank you again, Sky. Hey, man, these are the type of information that we need where we can say, oh, you're going to pay him this much. It's eventually. But all we care about is that championships. Plural, because we deserve it. Thank you, Sky and Cowboy Nation. Hey, keep getting in that information. Support New Cowboys Media. Love you all. Bendiciones, Sky. Thank you.
De nada. Appreciate you. My guy, the lunatic. Yeah, man. David Moore is the biggest mouthpiece for the Joneses. Let me see if this works here. Y'all remember this? Y'all can hear it.
Subjects.
No, y'all got to see it. Hold up now. No. I got to see this, man. Let me see something real quick. Stay with me. It's very short. I ain't going to keep it long with it. Y'all remember this?
Our subjects.
Y'all don't need to see that part, but that part right there, that's real. That's real. They all, with all due respect to the people that are there, there's a reason why it's extremely hard to get in those inner circles. When you go look around the rest of the league, it ain't hard to be a credentialed media member for these teams, man, at all. It's fairly easy, actually. But shouts out to Tuck, who reiterated this thing here, which has been known since the beginning of time here. Control the media, you control man. Look, this guy knows what he's doing. Gatekeeping. And then when he does let a newer-ish media entity in, he knows what kind. They're not opinionated media pieces. You just report on what's going on. Not putting pressure on them. Not calling them out. My subjects. I guess you could say, oh, Sky's joking. All right. $903, what it is, what it do?
Yo, Sky, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up?
Hey, man. Look, I'm a long-time supporter of the show.
Thank you, sir.
You're hitting it dead on, man, with Steven. Steven is changing, doing too many changes, man. I like the old school, Jerry, where you bring in the high-price free agents to actually help the team. I take another spin on it, man. Like, I look at it from, they want to invest in the draft, and, that's their thing. They want to do that. But the years that they miss on them, like last year with the Mozzie and the Schoonmaker, you're not replacing those with quality free agents. So you're setting your team back not only the next year, but the following year after that, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and then the whole thing with the Dak situation, man. We talk about his money like Dak is the highest paid quarterback, like Dak is bottom tier. Just pay the man, give him his money, and move on. Let's quit talking about his money. Dak deserves everything he's getting. The Cowboys messed it up when they let him get off his rookie deal and franchised him back-to-back years. and they're still paying for it. And if I'm in Dak's camp, I'm not giving them a discount. I'm not giving them any breaks. Give me the money. That's my opinion on it, man. But I'm going to sit back and enjoy the show. Listen to what you got to say, man.
Thank you, brother.
First-time caller.
What's your name?
All right, man. Thanks. Kel, man. I just go by Kel.
Kel? All right, I'm going to lock you in, Kel. Appreciate you. So, and that's the thing about the whole, I don't understand these people that are all for this discount. I don't get it. I do not get it. And people get mad when they compare it to, because one of the things that, media or just people on Twitter do is, well, would you take the discount or whatever? Look, man, it's pretty simple here, man. Did y'all see how much money they making out here? Over $10.5 billion. And that's not counting merchandise and TV. I don't think that's counting. That's just the cap. You want me to take a discount when y'all could just up and just cut me at any given moment? Yeah, I'm good on that. Number one. Number two, it quite literally doesn't matter what, speaking on Dak specifically, what he's asking for. The market. If he gets the market, it is not going to affect the Cowboys negatively in their money. It frees money up. I don't know how many times you have to say this. It probably won't hit for a couple seasons. It won't be this massive hit. Think about this for a second. He signed that extension 3 seasons ago, 2021, whatever it was. Went through the 2021 season, 22 and 23 season with a outside the top 10 or right at the bottom of the top 10 cap hit. It wasn't until this season where you see a $59 million cap hit. You do an extension, he won't see a crazy cap hit. And as Toxic explained earlier, the cash and the hit are two totally different things. If you don't want to pay bruh, because you don't want to pay him his cash, you're pocket watching. But like I said, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't blame Dak for taking up a bunch of cap, but then when there's this ability for him not to, you're out on it. Oh, well, he's taking up too much cap. We can't sign nobody. That is the most laziest thing you can say now. And because we know it's not true. I digress. Mr. Poindexter. Good morning,
Scott.
sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man? You know that Dak Prescott, man, he keeps the business the business.
He does pay the bills. Yeah, he does pay the bills.
That's what I truly like. Stuff that people say about, oh, you should take a discount, all this here. Dak knows his position. And what he does is he concentrates, he tells people, this is the bottom line, and they do the business. He's not out there on the boat playing, losing instructions or whatever. He keeps the business the business. Oh, I'm breaking up AT&T, baby. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Was breaking up a little bit. AT&T been tripping.
All right, man. You know AT&T, man, is crap. I don't know what's happening with this here, but I hope you can hear me. As I messed up my thought now. Okay. Jerry Jones, he tries to get with players, to take these deals, to smooth them and everything like this. He cannot finesse Dak Prescott that way. Dak Prescott knows exactly where he stands. You know what I mean? They need to pay him his money. He's going to stand on that, what you call it, stand on business. He's going to stand on that business. That's what he's going to do, stand on that business. This is the time of the year, man. There's no football, combine coming up, free agents coming up, draft coming up. So it's not a whole lot to talk about except for this getting Dak signed. This is the priority right now, until we get into everything else of this team building. I really think that if Zimmer comes in, and let players play on their merit. Not these is our boys or this is a free agent, this man league, this or whatever. Whoever the best to be on the field. That's what we've been crying about. Especially players should be. We should get linebackers that play linebacker. We should get safeties that play safety. Corners that play corners. Linemen that play linemen. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we need to do, a team building. But the priority. Oh, wait a minute. One more point. Mahomes got that long contract. And the thing that happens with that, when you go out and extend that quarterback like that, that gives you a chance to build teams, to get free agents, to get the draft picks and everything like this here. I just think that Kansas City, they set themselves up to be a good team for a long time by doing that long term with that quarterback. Now, people can say, oh, yeah, Dak Prescott is not, Mahomes. But Dak Prescott is a franchise quarterback. Yeah. But,
it's not even that. I wouldn't even trust the Cowboys to do. I wouldn't do that. The Mahomes can do that because he trusts and believes in that franchise.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah, that's what.
Who outside of Tyron Smith is taking a 10-year deal to play in Dallas? Especially the quarterback where you're gonna get all the heat if you don't get it done. It's all your fault. It's never nobody else's fault. It's your fault and your fault alone. Me personally,
yeah.
I don't trust the Joneses. The reason why Pat can do that is, man, I trust the Hunts. I trust the Hunts. I trust Brett Veach and I trust Andy Reid. I can be here. Where even an agent can say that too. Whereas Dak and his agent like, nah, man, 5 years max, probably what you gonna get here.
That's it.
Because what y'all gonna do with the bread?
Stand on the business.
What you gonna do with the bread? You gonna do the same thing you've been doing with the bread for the last 15, 20 years, which is nothing but sign your own dudes? Then what the hell am I? What am I doing 10-year deal for?
After when Dak was on his rookie contract, I heard the reports they had plenty of money under the cap. And what we gonna do? Wide receiver by commission, just all kinds of stupid stuff. Instead of trying to build a team around this quarterback that showed you his rookie year that he could do the job. It's like, come on, man. Come on, so I'm gonna be a Cowboy fan, and we're gonna talk about this and chop it up, man. And I love your format, man. I love what you're doing, man. You keep doing what you're doing, man. And we're gonna talk during this off time, but the season is right around the corner, man. I'm an old dude, so time passed fast for me. So the season will be here before I know it.
It go by fast for you. It's gonna be a long one for me, man.
Well, it's so funny, man. When you're a kid, you look forward to Christmas. When you're an adult, you dread it because it keeps coming around too fast. Hey, man, you have a glorious day, man. Appreciate God bless you and yours, man. All right.
Salute. Salute to my guy, man. Mr.
Bye-bye.
Paul and Dexter. Our ref. Good calls today, man. Good calls today. Yeah, man, I don't trust. And honestly, all fandom aside, if I was bruh, I don't know how he keeps wanting to come back to this. Seriously. But this is a dude who's totally different. The strength it takes for him to do what he does, given what's going on in his life, is totally different. So this probably mean, all the heat that he gets is probably nothing, right? Where I'm just a regular peasant that hasn't been through half the things that he went through. But yeah, I'll be standing on business too, because cool, man. I mean, go do the back half of my career with a better organization. Notice, that might not mean better particular team at that moment, but there are a ton of better organizations, in my opinion. A flash? It's going to be a flash. Oh, it ain't, man. I love the offseason because I love the team building part of the offseason. But the further along we go as Cowboy fans, depending on your audience, y'all cool. I ain't worried about y'all. I ain't worried about y'all at all. It's other things that's like, man, come on, let's get through this. Let's get this draft. Let's get to camp. I'm anxious to get to camp so we can get back to football. Y'all know me in this show. I am about ball first. And unfortunately, in this particular time, it's more about drama and TMZ and everybody hangs on that. I just don't particularly care about it as much to discuss it, but I get it, you know. I'm gonna do one more because this is I don't know where this caller is from. So let me see something real quick before I bring it through. 966. You lie. Yes, sir.
Yes, Sky Bender from Saudi Arabia. I'm Cowboys fan. I'm a little bit nervous. I never called.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We like family here, so I'll try to make it light and loose for you. But appreciate you calling all the way from Saudi, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, I'm a huge Cowboys fan since 10 years ago, since 2016. The Dak first year with Zeke. I was actually a casual fan.
Yeah.
Then I became really, really big fan of the Cowboys and American football. You know, here in international. I'm sorry, my English is not so good.
It's okay, buddy.
Keep with me. So I became Cowboys fan after that great season, after the Romo injury, and so it's a great sport, and I enjoy it, and I enjoy your show. I talked to you several times on Twitter. You are a very, very nice person.
Thank you.
You and Watch and Jeff and Dan, you are all great persons. I have 2 cents about this salary cap. We all frustrated about against Green Bay.
Yeah.
It was very, here it's different time zone. I actually waked up. I had work, so I took vacation, so I can watch the game because it's late here in Saudi Arabia to watch the game. It's really late. So when I wake up, I was so nervous for the game, and when I wake up, I said, I'm sorry to say this, not this shit again. When I woke up, it was 14-0. 14-0. I said, not again. This happens again to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember the San Francisco game in 20, and I think the first one with Jimmy Garoppolo.
13-0.
Yeah, this is easy. We're gonna win. Then this is even more shocking than that one. This one was, I just couldn't understand it. I don't want to take much of your time. I know you have got other callers, but the thing is, just hear me out about the salary cap, okay?
Okay.
I watch international sports, okay? They pay money, I think you saw the movie Moneyball.
Yes.
I think Cowboys trying to get the Moneyball, they get some the linebackers. They try to get some deals in the Moneyball sense, they get. I'm not sure what you call it in English, but they
they get the cheaper options.
The cheaper options, but it's not that way. It's exploiting the market in different way. So that's why they signed the Gallup deal, the Michael Gallup deal, and we let go of Amari. Of course, we regret it. And of course, your cousin deal, which is
my cousin,
didn't work out. Yeah, he almost gave me a heart attack this season. So but I understand what Stephen coming from, and I understand our frustration as fans. I pay for Cowboys gear. I'm an international fan, so at least I have a voice. I pay to watch the games. I deserve to have a voice. I understand the Cowboys frustration fan who are American in Dallas or in Texas. I understand that. But honestly, it's salary cap real. I know it's the salary cap. It's not real all the time, but you have to understand too. You have to pay their guys. They have to pay their guys, and they are loyal to a fault. I don't want to give them all the. I don't want to say they're not good. They don't pay. If they don't pay, they shouldn't bid for Michael Gallup or Terence Steele. These guys are hurt. Why we keep paying for hurt guys?
Because
they're loyal. I understand.
Because, like you said earlier, they like to try to get in front of these deals and think they're outsmarting the market. in reality, they're only playing themselves, because when you're loyal to a fault like that, you tend to overvalue your own guys. And I thought it was easy to see that Michael Gallup, that's one that's extremely overvalued. You could argue Terence, like I said, because he plays he plays a tackle position, and you see it with Terence, and he was younger, but he's not the only one. Gallup, right? We talked about Jalen Smith back in. You said you were a fan from 2016 on, so Jalen Smith. Tagging the running back and the tight end. They overvalue their own guys because they care about the devil they do know.
Exactly, but can I about Dak? I think I'm with you. He should get his money. I'm not into that. I don't care about the owners. He should get his money. But don't you think it will be a great PR move for Dak? Like I said yesterday on Twitter, if he gets I know Dak carries so much pressure. He doesn't deserve all the blame. We don't have. You said it all year. We are not serious about the run game.
Yeah.
We are not serious. The guy doing this alone, he's not getting any help. So who said if he give them pay cut here, they will spend the money? We don't know. But I think for him, it will be a great PR move. Meaning he could just get a little bit less, and he just so people just to keep the pressure off him when he struggle in the big games against Green Bay. Either way, I agree with you.
Yeah, that is fair.
PR move, you understand?
Yes. What's your name again? Let me save your name real quick.
Bender. If you can put my name, I will be very, very, very happy.
Yeah, you said Bender?
Bender from Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
Bender, got you. So Bender, that you're 100% right. If he wants to make a PR move, that will definitely seem to lessen the heat on him. But the issue is he's still going to account for the most probably cap hit percentage wise for the next few years. He's still going to get paid an obscene amount of money, and people are still going to say that. But I can't argue against that though. If he wants a PR move, he can somehow, some way. I don't know how he do it, and the NFLPA will probably get pissed off if he were to take below the market.
The association. But he gets I see him in every commercial. He gets even Romo now. He's retired for so many years. He still gets commercial because he's a Cowboy.
Yeah.
But I understand. I have one question, Sky. I call you later about the draft. I know you don't wanna. And Foot's doing a great job too.
Yeah, he is.
But I want to ask you one question. If they who you think, realistically in the market, who we can get that can help us, help Dak a lot? Do you think A.J. Dillon? I just saw his number is not that good.
Oh, free agent market
at the goal line, yeah, free agent market. Who is that? Someone who can help Dak? One more question. I'm sorry. We saw what happened with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
About him keeping the thing about the calling at her hand. Dak doesn't use it. I know Dak is very smart. But do you think what will help Dak, considering every great quarterback use it, like Mahomes, Brady, Manning? They use I'm not sure what they call it, the one... the wristband that has the call. Do you think it will help?
That's a good question. That's something that if I get a chance to get down there this year for camp, I will definitely ask him. Hey, have you ever thought about putting a wristband on? They seem to have the process down from the play call to Dak and then getting into the line of scrimmage and the huddle real easily. So I don't know if he needs it, but I can't see it harming. But I think it's a preference thing. But that's interesting because you do see Mahomes, Brady use it. I don't think Peyton did, but I could be wrong later in his career.
Peyton doesn't use it. I'm not sure.
There are some great quarterbacks that use it though. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I took too much of your time. I think someone in the chat said I have 15 wives, which is very funny. It's misconception, but it's okay. I don't have 15 wives.
Hold on. Somebody in the chat said you got 50 wives? Now, Bender, they're going to get on you a little bit, Bender. You got to be able to laugh at yourself sometimes on this show.
Yeah. We all. I'm Saudi, but I'm also
You just got
black,
5.
so I don't care. I get this. Yeah. Okay, Sky, it was nice to talk to you.
Thank
Say
you,
hi to Watch.
Yeah.
I love your contact. You guys are so good. It's better than the 4-letter network, the 3-letter network. You're so good. I'm so glad I discovered you. I always talk to you on Twitter. I have also one more question. Why do you call Aisha to Ayah? I don't get it.
So because she has two I's to start her name in Aisha. And that's and that's Vach. Vach started the two I's. So, anytime I say her name, I got to press the button, right? I got to do it. So that's why we call it two I's.
Okay, listen, I'm sorry I took too much time.
No,
from
don't
your,
be sorry, man.
Show, and I will continue watching. I'm sorry I was too nervous. Guys on the chat, I'm very sorry, but we are nice people just like you.
Very
Different
nice
country. That's it.
Appreciate you, Bender, and appreciate the support, brother. Keep on rocking and call back in. I don't know what time. What time is it over there?
I will always support you. Now it's 7 o'clock and 7 o'clock here. So
At night?
PM. So it's
okay.
I mean, yeah, PM. Yeah.
That's perfect timing
nice
over there.
time. Yeah, it's nice.
One more question.
Yeah,
One more question before you leave. Do you watch wrestling?
Actually, here's the thing. Here in Saudi Arabia, they are great wrestling fans.
Yes, that's why I'm asking you. Because they bring wrestling over there like 2-3 times a year.
I will borrow your line. I can't fake the funk. It's not my style. I know you, and I know you are you and the scientific method guy, the awesome guy.
Patrick Dosey Walker, yeah.
Bat is a huge awesome. But what I love about Bat is he's a huge baseball fan. He is a huge baseball fan. Yeah, I love baseball. Baseball used to be my favorite sport. Now it's football. I can't stand soccer. I watch it because I grew up playing it and stuff like that. So internationally, it's soccer. So, but to me, it's nothing like the NFL, nothing like the Dallas Cowboy. Nothing gets me more joy. Even my fiance knows it's Sunday. It's Dallas Cowboy time.
That's it.
There is no other. Yeah, it's so much
Sundays
fun.
are for the Sundays are for the boys.
Yeah. I love your show, Sky.
Thank you.
I finish work. I work from home, just like you. I work in telecommunication company.
Here we go.
And when I finish work, I put your show before 1:05. That's fine. When I finish from them, I go from you. Then I watch late. That will be late at night.
So Ben, did you say you work for telecommunication?
Yeah.
we probably talked once or twice before then, Ben. We probably talked. I'm just saying, AT&T the one out. I had to make some calls. I probably didn't talk to you.
Watch had a great show when your Viber was down. Watch, he was making fun of you all the time. It was very funny. I know you're a great friend.
Yes,
I
that's
hope you
guy.
do other podcasts about other stuff like I told you on Twitter, and you said maybe you will do it in the future. I hope you guys do it because you are very talented guys.
Thank you, man.
I really think so.
Appreciate those kind words, Bender. You enjoy the rest of your night and keep rocking, man.
Okay, thank you, brother. Thanks.
Yes, sir. What a call, man. That was a treat. That was a treat. I usually try to mark. You know how they have these things where wherever you go, you grab something from where you're at, you put it on the refrigerator or something like that. I try to memorize where we've gotten callers from. I mean, Jamaica, Germany, Saudi, I think is the first. I think that's the first we got. Where else? Like Peru or something? Man, so many different places have called in. That was a fantastic call, Bender. Bender said, to borrow your saying, I can't fake the funk. That's so dope. I think that's so cool, man. That's how I know you really, really watch this show. Because whenever I can't fake it to y'all, I was about to say, I can't fake the funk, man. What a call. Man, good calls today. On fire. But when Bender said, hey, man, I work for the telecommunications, I said, I probably didn't talk to you. This ain't the first time. I just put on my different voice, we got a couple voices. We got the just chilling voice. We got the, hey, man, I need to get this money off voice when you're talking to the peoples the bill people. And then you got the pissed off voice. And that's the voice that Bender probably get a lot. So I apologize, Bender, if we've spoken before and I gave you some attitude, man. But see, my wife won't do it. I got to do all the calls like that, What an amazing show. Yeah, we got the professional voice, you know. See, my mom do that the best. She probably watching this show right now. Oh, I see she used to be a secretary in school, so she got to know how to, she can't. Man, somebody come to the crib or she get on the phone. I look, you don't talk like that. But you got to have a professional voice, though. He was just cussing me and my brother out 2 seconds ago. All right, let's get to these super chats. That was a fun call, man. I was really hoping Bender was a WWE fan, man, because they go over there all the time. Let me see where we at here. 26. Got a couple of them. Appreciate y'all. Sully dropped dropped 5. I'm sorry. It said, with the Joneses looking out for the cap 2 to 4 years in advance, how the hell are we not near the top of the money? The top of free money. Somebody don't know what they're doing. Yeah, Sully, I think it's because we overvalue our guys. And we hit the cap floor because we pay a Michael Gallup. We pay a Dorrance instead of going out and trying to pay outside the free agents. So, I mean, we had like $9 million to start last year, did some restructures and ended up in like 20s, I think. So they've massaged the cap to get space. They just don't use that space outside the organization. Nah, Chris, all time. And then
Super Chat.
Toxic Drop 2 says, Sky, this is why I say you can't overcome it. Yeah, Toxic. We're forever going to have that. You got to overcome it. Can't overcome it. I'm going to keep hope alive, man. Yeah, my wife in the chat. It's crazy how see, so look, like the memes nowadays is women get upset when the restaurants don't, give you something nice. I don't believe in that out in restaurants. Like they don't, not something nice. If they don't get your order right, I don't believe in getting upset and attitude at restaurants. There's one thing I don't mess with. Drive-through workers and restaurant employees. Because they can do things to your food. I've worked at both. I'm not saying these things happen from me, but I've seen some things. So that whole little meme going around of, oh yeah, the girlfriend get all up. No, don't get upset at the restaurants. Now everything else, yeah, she did. It's me. I gotta be the one to get upset. That's what I'm saying, Toxic. Don't mess with people that make your food, man. My first job was McDonald's. I've quite literally seen somebody drop the patty, man. And you know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on. Now I'm 14, so I ain't saying nothing for real. But in my head, I'm like, what is this? I'm never eating here again. I used to work at Codes, right? So our health inspector, she would come back and she let us, man, don't go to this restaurant. I just failed them, but they probably gonna pass tomorrow. But don't go to this restaurant. And I watched John Taffer, so I don't trust people out there. Fun show today, man. Or Vach, I can't wait to rap the Vach later on today. We got to get Bender to call in the Vach's show too, by the way. And Vach, I got some things to say about the situation. I wonder if our guy knows our guy. That's all. Man, good stuff today. I told my age. I'm an old soul, man. Hit this like button if you enjoyed today's show. On the way out, please. Again, this was a different type of show. We basically explained a lot about the cap and how it is cap. It's going to continue to rise. We talked about where the Cowboys sit with their cap space, and we talked about the moves that they could potentially make to get under the cap. Talking about Cuzzo, who, believe it or not, has stepped up. We talked about Diggs getting, a restructure to open up $8 million. We talked about, this is the more tricky one, Zack Martin can give you $13 million roughly, right? And then the big ones, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Good stuff today. Make sure y'all run that thing back. Y'all crazy with this age thing. All right, let's get up out of here. I got some things to do, and then we got a good fire show later on. If I can find my button. There it is.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
I'm still in awe that Bender said, to borrow your words, I can't fake the funk. Man, that's so cold. I don't think I know how cold that is. Just for that, Bender, I'm going to watch the next Crown Jewel all the way through. I usually don't watch the Crown Jewel when they go over there, man, but I'll watch it for you. All right, we out of here. Love y'all. See y'all later. Peace.
Bomb Squad!